Any heals on point? Oh, fuck.
What's up guys, Yoshi's here with another Overwatch video. In this video, I got coached by a professional Overwatch player. So he gave me tips on playing support, specifically Zenyatta and Moira. So he watched my gameplay and gave me some advice on how I can climb the ranks. So I will leave his information in the description, and I'll also add timestamps in case you want to go to a specific section on either of the heroes. So let's get into the coaching.
So as Zen, usually like your positioning was not so bad, okay? Like it was not so bad, like you're trying to play the distance, try to play like next to some like natural cover. So this was pretty good, okay? As well, when people actually needed heals, like you were actually like going for those like hitting orb like swaps and stuff like that, which is very good. Okay, same thing with your Discord. Whenever you saw that you could have like a Discord target, you were already like pressing it, so that's very good. Okay, so that's the good habit that you have.
Okay.
That's good that you try to charge your secondary fire when you're not doing anything, but don't hesitate to basically like charge it all the way. Okay, charge all the 5 orbs and trying to get a pick with it basically. Okay. Usually you're gonna have those like spam areas where like you're gonna have like one spot to just right click where like there might be basically like someone in the enemy team, you know. So usually when you want to charge your secondary fire, you kind of want to use it like behind the wall and just like pick and raise your right click, right? And then if you can basically, if you see anyone, well, you can just continue with the primary fire. Okay, if not, you can basically charge another secondary fire. Okay, but yeah, like make sure you charge them like all the way, okay, to basically get the kill potential or like the very like high damage, right? So you don't lose so much time. So again, I say that your positioning was good enough, but you have to be careful on the rotations. Okay, so at some point you're picking a tiny bit aggressive to get those like line of sight, which is very good, you know, like on the first point you're just like playing kind of far, like playing on the choke, trying to get those like damage done and stuff like that. Okay, you are kind of lacking damage because like you are like shooting at stuff, then you are just charging a right click, but to just send one orb from your right click from your secondary fire, right? Instead of basically charging all of it or just like only using primary fire. So but at some point your positioning was fine there, because yeah, you were safe. Okay, so at some point you start winning the fight and you basically pushed up to get the line of sight on people that try to go back. Okay, that's good. But then the enemy team basically like pushed back, okay, but you basically stood there. Alright. So at some point you were basically getting cut out of position. Okay, so like you need to be reading this, you need to be reading like what's happening so you can react on your positioning. Okay, so here instead of basically staying on the middle of the punch, you need to basically get back to the choke. Okay, for example, it's all about like kind of reading what's happening, kind of reading where's the enemy team, trying to see your Reinhardt as well. Like if your Reinhardt is dead, for example, well, they're gonna take the space very fast. Okay, they're gonna, I mean, for free, right? If you see that your Reinhardt is low HP or like your Reinhardt shield is broken, well, it means that the enemy team will basically take the space easier as well. Okay, so we need to be reading those like situations. Okay, hitting priority. At first, for example, like when I saw you going out of the spawn, okay, first round, I saw that you put your hitting orb on the diva. Is there any reason why you will put on the diva here?
So I assumed that she would push up a little bit and would be the first one to start taking damage.
So at this point we had the Ana for that as a main healer. Okay, as Ana, Bap, or Moira. Your goal is to basically keep the tanks alive, right? Like your priority as Zen is basically to keep the DPS alive at some point. Okay, I mean the DPS and the second support. If someone is dying on your team, let's say like your Ana is 1 HP, your Echo is 1 HP, and your Reinhardt is 1 HP, you will always heal your Ana, right? Because if your Ana survives, she will help healing as well.
Exactly.
When your Ana takes damage, we need to put the orb on her like right away. When she's getting pressure, we put the orb on her right away. Okay, so that's something you didn't do here, for example, as Zen. But yeah, by default, we try to pocket a DPS with our Zen orb. Okay, when everyone is full HP, we want to put our healing orb on our DPS so they can actually play more aggressive. Like yeah, for example, if I'm in an echo with the orb, right, I will be able to basically peek a tiny bit like deeper, being more aggressive with my right clicks. Okay, like if I'm a tracer, for example, yeah, I'm basically gonna take duels. Okay, or stuff like that. So that's super important to understand. Okay, by default, I put my healing orb on a DPS. Okay. Swap to my supports if my supports take any damage, and to my tanks if they are critical, for example. Transcendence usage. So what was your thinking process when you use your Transcendence on the first round?
So I called out to the team that I had it and we could push up aggressively. I wanted to try to take out or get 1 or 2 key picks while we had trans, and then take the fight from there.
Okay. So usually you kind of want to use it defensively. Okay. We don't really want to go aggressive with the Transcendence, okay? Because you might have ultimates to actually counter, okay? At some point they had the mines ready and they had the visor ready.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's your responsibility to basically counter those with your ultimate. So at some point your team can totally go aggressive without it, and we can use it in case the enemy team is using ultimates, okay? Because like if we go aggressive, okay, like we have the Discord and stuff like that, if the enemy team is not using ultimates, well, we're just gonna win, because like you have the Discord, like we have like enough, you guys have like enough damage to actually like win that. So you're basically gonna force them to use ultimates at some point, and we're basically gonna trans that, okay? So always try to use the trans to react to some ultimates, okay? Like at some point it can be like a visor, it can be like a grab, a shatter, like a sigma flux, for example, okay? Even like a Genji blade and stuff like that, okay? Basically, so yeah, to counter an enemy win condition, or
can I ask a quick question there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So on a Sigma ult, should I use trance when he lifts us into the air or right before we hit the ground?
Like when you're in the air and when you're getting slammed down, basically. So you use trance when you're getting pulled up in the air, basically, because you don't want to die while you're getting pulled up, right?
Yeah.
And your team can still die in the air, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you need to be trancing when the Sigma is pulling you up. When your team is gonna get pulled down, you will still be on Transcendence. So yeah, let's try to use the Transcendence to cancel those, to basically counter those win conditions, or to sustain your team, okay, if they need to, okay, like let's say your Ren is very low HP, okay, it's like almost using it as a lamp, like an early fight lamp, for example. Can totally be like that. Okay, what's your goal on Moira?
So I was trying to just build my ult charge as fast as possible. I think in that fight we had been losing for most of it, and I switched a little bit later than I probably should have. So I tried to get coalescence so that we could try to push to.
Okay, perfect. Are you gonna build your ultimate super fast?
I wanted to do it by healing up the tanks, but we were very spread out. So I think at one point I was trying to keep Echo alive, and then I tried to switch back over to Ryan. And I think Eva might have been on the other side of the point. So there wasn't really a part of the game where I had multiple people up. So my ult charge built pretty slowly.
Alright. And there's another issue why your build was your ultimate was building very slowly, is that you actually never sent any damage orb.
Yeah, I think I've now over-indexed on healing orbs. I used to send many more damage orbs, and I got called out for it a lot. So I think I did a complete 180, and I haven't been sending out enough damage for it.
Yeah. So you need to send as much damage orb as possible before the fight starts.
So the other thing I noticed was that the other team had, I think, Eva and Sigma, and so I thought if I threw my damage orb from too far, they would just suck it up.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. If the Sigma is using the grasp for that, he doesn't have the grasp for himself to basically survive if you were pushing him. You know, like that's totally fine. And like at some point, if people are playing Diva, it's gonna throw anyway. Okay, because like Diva is just pretty bad.
Okay.
So yeah, that's totally fine. So at some point you can have some of those like sticky damage orb when like you basically try to send it on the back lane instead of the front lane, okay? But I want you to spam your orbs on cooldown. Okay? every 10 seconds I want you to send an orb, no matter if it's a damage orb or a healing orb. Before the fight starts, usually you're gonna go for the damage orbs if like no one is like getting pressured like hard, okay?
Yeah.
One damage orb can get you up to 10% of ult charge, okay? So that's 1% per second, right? Since you have one orb every 10 seconds, right? And you can get up to 15% with the healing orb, okay? So before the fight starts, damage orb as much as possible. Basically you can get like 2 or 3 before the fight starts, okay? But when the fight starts, you will be able to go for those healing orbs, even if your team is full HP, right? But for that we need to get those bounces, right? Like try to get a bounce on the wall, okay, on a 90-degree angle. So like the orb is basically coming back at you.
Yep.
The orb's coming back at you. You can even use the ceiling for that, alright? But that's super important. That's how you're gonna get your coalescence fast, okay? Of course you're gonna stay around your tanks or around your range. That's basically what you want to do, okay? Your goal is to keep your tanks alive, right?
Yeah.
Your tanks and second support for sure, okay? Like you're gonna get some like natural ult charge from like just keeping them alive, right? But the orbs are the main part of the ult charge here, okay? So you need to spam those damage orbs before the fight, okay?
Okay.
Even during the fight, like if you see that your team is kind of lacking some damage, even during the fight, if your juice like your healing resources is full and your team is healthy, well, you can just like go for the damage drop during the fight as well. Okay? So you can try apply that as well. But okay, it's like that's basically the rule here. It's like before the fight, spend damage orbs directly when it's available, right? So I send my damage drop to the enemy team. They get like damage from that. You get 10%. So I have the cooldown, right? And I try to think about my next orb. Okay, so I'm ready to send my orb is like directly when it's available.
So what are your thoughts on sending a damage orb towards a full HP opponent if they're next to support? Because I've usually seen that when I do that, then the enemy team will just heal them up, and I don't know if I'm getting value out of that damage orb.
You're getting 10% recharge. You're gonna get your ultimate first. So let's think about that. If you just send damage orbs, right? 10% per 10 seconds. That's how much a minute? How much charge you get? Well, on the 1 minute,
per minute, just from the orbs.
Just for the damage orbs.
And then with the passive charge, it's probably close to 100%.
All right, you're gonna get 1 ultimate per fight, basically, if you do that. Okay, and the ultimate, like you understand that you're gonna have to use it whenever it's available, like your ultimate. Okay, like for example, you had your ultimate during the fight, you can use it like right away on your tanks and trying to get some like damage as well. So that's good. The coalescence, we kind of want to use it whenever you have it available, like during a fight or just to engage a fight. Okay, you can totally call for it when you engage a fight. Okay, so your positioning as Moira when you use your coalescence is pretty simple. You're basically gonna just like stay behind your tanks and try to damage people through them. Okay, so by hitting them and damaging people, like usually the squishes, right? Like their supports or like even the DPS, right? At some point, if you see that you're safe and they don't have so much like crowd control, okay, stuns like sleep darts and stuff like that, you could totally go more aggressive with the coalescence and kind of like chase kills. Okay, at some point you will be able to do that in plat.
Okay.
Stay behind your tanks and healing them while you're basically damaging the enemy team. So like the most important is the orb management, damage orb. You don't care about feeding their support ultimates because like you're not gonna do a lot of damage out of that. So like now, for example, that's healing a rain, like she might get like, I don't know, she might get 2 or 3%, like maybe 4 or 5 out of it. And basically gonna get 10%, right?
Yeah, so I'm getting it twice as fast.
Yeah, so like you're gonna have your ultimate first anyway, like no matter how the fight goes. So always be ready for the next orb. Okay, when you go for those damage orbs, like for example, when your cooldown is at like 2 or 3 seconds, this is where you need to positionate yourself to be ready to send the orb when it's available, because every second you're losing is 1% you're losing. As more, let's try to think about that. Okay, like even during the fight, try to spam your healing orbs. Okay, like if you have to send healing orbs, of course, like yeah, like don't wait till people are low HP to send your healing orbs. Okay, you can use the healing orb preventively by using those bounces.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Those healing orbs will heal people as soon as they're getting damaged. Okay, so you're gonna have value from it. Okay, so I want you to spam your orbs on cooldown and kinda your coalescence on cooldown as well. For your fade, well, we're gonna have to use it to just survive. Okay, we don't want to use it too much for.
Yeah, I used it to reposition
for, like,
a couple
mobility.
times.
If you're on a bad spot and you need to reposition with it, that's fine. But at some point, we don't want to be on a bad positions to start with. You know what I mean? Okay, just a little detail with the coalescence and orb. When you want to use a coalescence, try to get an orb with it.
Yeah, I think when I used it, I didn't have it off of cooldown, but I wanted to save the critical HP.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But like overall, let's try to think about that. Okay, so like if you have like 2 or 3 seconds cooldown on your orb, sometimes it's worth it to wait. Okay, because at the end of your coalescence, you're gonna have another orb ready.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a lot of value, right? When you play off healer, like usually you're gonna like focus on keeping your second support alive and your DPS. But when you play a main healer, usually you're gonna try to like focus a bit more on your tanks and your support, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Your second support is always the main priority. Okay. So yeah, I don't know, like let's say like you're playing Ana, okay, like all your team, like you're very far, and like your team is getting grabbed, like all your team is getting grabbed, and you have your mercy in the grab while you're gonna keep the mercy alive in priority.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an example.
I think I was out of position.
So there's another reason like that. So like again, it's like your fade overuse. That's there basically. So you remember what you did before that?
Yeah, I faded before that to get on.
You faded to try to chase a Mercury, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so we don't chase with the fade, okay? We always fade back to basically survive, okay? We use it defensively. We can use the fade aggressively here because you might just like die because of that. Okay?
Yeah.
You're extremely vulnerable when you're out of fade. When in higher rank, I mean especially on PC, when you're gonna play in higher rank, you're gonna have 6 people just yelling, oh, Moira no fade, Moira no fade, more, you know? Like, they would just like not hesitate, they would just go on you, right? So let's try to be careful not overusing the fade like that for mobility or to get aggressive, okay? But let's say if you're on a 6 versus 1 and you want to finish a kill, like that's okay, that's fair to like go for the fade and stuff like that. But like don't try to, like when the fight is even, okay, like don't use your fade to try to chase a DPS that can actually one shot you, okay, like a flash right click.
Yeah.
You are totally dead here, okay? What do you need to do, like if the Genji is using blade?
I should be able to fade away from that, but also throw a damage orb towards them.
Okay, so how so what's the timing of your fade?
I would throw the damage orb first, and then as he dashes towards me, then fade away.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I guess like the healing orb defensively would be fine as well. Like, for example, remember like when you like in your spawn when you did the 1v1 against him, right? So here you will survive by just using the healing orb. You will kill him with the healing orb because he won't be able to over damage your heals. Okay. So we don't damage orb him on a 1v1 situation. We heal orb. But like I'm talking about the 1v1 situation.
Oh
before. Yeah. Like in the spawn, remember?
Yep.
When you kind of like he didn't use his deflect, he was actually discarded, and you went for the damage orb when you were low HP. Okay.
So I should have used heal orb.
Heal orb, follow your orb, right? The biggest issue though, so yeah, there is this like the over fading, but the biggest issue is still your orbs. So you lose a lot of value with the healing orbs because they just go off the map.
They bounce
right?
everywhere, yeah.
They don't even bounce anywhere. Like usually you just like send your orb and it's just like gone, you know? So it's super important that you understand that we don't aim at your teammates with the healing orbs. Okay? We aim at walls, right?
Right.
We want the orb to come back straight at you. Okay? Always 90-degree angles, right? Use the ceiling or use any wall, any flat wall, right? you want the orb to come back straight at you. All right, that's super important. Sometimes you'll be able to just send a healing orb straight when your team is pushing. That's totally fine. Okay, you're gonna have a lot of value, like especially when your team is low HP. But there is so much time here when, or sometimes you try to send a preventive healing orb by aiming at someone, but like they might get healed like 10 HP, and then the orb is basically getting away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I saw
so
that.
you lose a lot of ult charge. You lose a lot of heals and a lot of ult charge because of that. Okay. So again, you can have one coalescence every fight. So I will come back on my computer here and do like a quick play on Moira, for example, and show you that, like how it can be done, how you can get like a coalescence like very fast. Okay.
Yeah, that would be
and
really
sampling
helpful.
the damage drops. Okay, with the damage drops, for example, like I saw you like going a lot for those bounces, when like no, with the damage drops that's the totally opposite. Okay, you need to aim at people. Okay, so healing goals we aim at walls, damage rolls we aim at people.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does.
But just with that, like just with those, like by getting like better fade usage and better orbs, like you will see like you will carry way more games. With